Good morning, friends. Namaste to everyone. We are in the series of medical review of Bhagavad Gita. Here we are reviewing or we are discussing the Bhagavad Gita sutras with the help of medical perspective. So, after discussion of the spiritual anatomy and physiology of the body, the causes of the diseases described in Bhagavad Gita, the stress and how to decrease the stress, the practical solutions to decrease the stress or decrease the adhi, because so many vyadhis are because of the adhi, because of stress induced diseases. The current population is facing the stress induced diseases. So practical solutions to decrease this kind of stress and how that can lead to the health, that we discussed the Bhagavad Gita sutras in last few session. If you want to explore that, you can watch that videos at the recordings again. So now moving ahead in this medical review of Bhagavad Gita, we will discuss in this presentation few health issues which are described in Bhagavad Gita or which are touched by the Bhagavad Gita sutras. Always I want to remind you that Bhagavad Gita is a coded verses. We have to decode the knowledge hidden, or it can be found in the subtler sutras of the Bhagavad Gita. So in this presentation, or in this maybe in few next recordings, we will try to explore the how to or fighting COVID with Bhagavad Gita. Okay, how to adopt, or what the changes we can bring in our life, or the Bhagavad Gita sutras which can help us to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic situations. Then we will discuss about the autoimmunity, or some kind of a physiology which is a cancerous physiology, or the physiologies or the pathophysiologies like autoimmunity and cancer, root causes of autoimmunity and cancer physiology along with its solutions. Then there is a one boon, or there is one blessings, that is how bhakti, okay, maybe it is a saguna bhakti or nirguna bhakti, how bhakti can become the therapy for autoimmunity or for the cancer, because we know that current modern science have a lot of limitations in the treatment of such diseases like autoimmunity and cancers. So how bhakti can be prove, or how bhakti can give extreme results in this kind of pathophysiologies. Then we will discuss about the depression. Okay, there is some difference between the vishad and vairagya. Okay, depression, the whole Bhagavad Gita is described to decrease the depression of Arjuna. Okay, the vishad of Arjuna, no, in the third or fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna, one of the chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna Vishad Yoga. So the depression, we become Arjuna so many times. So how to this kind of a mental disturbance, mental disease or disorder is described in Bhagavad Gita, that is a depression, Vishad. Next, about the fertility or reproduction in the human beings. Okay, how it happens, how the human life starts. Okay, how what is the origin of human fetus, how life starts, that is described in Bhagavad Gita. Psychological qualities, at the time when the fetus starts developing or when the life starts, some sampat, okay, some psychological qualities the fetus adopt depending on the internal and external circumstances. So these psychological qualities of the fetus with its results as a samskar. Okay, then we will try to elaborate the negative psychological qualities and its solution. Okay, the fetus can adopt the positive as well as negative psychological qualities, and how to be aware of that, how to diagnose that, and what to do about that. Okay, and then we will discuss about the sanskar. These are the behavioral qualities of that fetus or of that atman with its bondages, because each and every quality, psychological quality, have some kind of bondages or have some kind of limitations, and how to overcome that limitations. And then outcomes of these qualities, what human behavior is the outcome or is the result of all these samskars and all these sampats, Okay, this psychological and behavior qualities of the fetus or of the baby. When he grow up, when the baby grow up, he results in the behavioral qualities. Okay, in such some kind of a behavioral patterns. So we'll discuss about that patterns also. So this is how we are going to discuss in next few recordings or next few sessions. So today we will try to discuss in this recording or in this session about fighting COVID-19 with the help of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So just to explore the how Bhagavad Gita can help us in fighting with COVID-19 situation, pandemic situation. First of all, we should know a little bit deeper things or a subtler aspect of the COVID-19. COVID-19, till today, we are aware that it is believed that COVID-19 has the origin in the bats and infections get transmitted from wet markets in some city of China or in some city of some part of the world. Okay, we will not enter in that disputes, but it is believed. It is believed WHO and so many other organizations are working on these facts that there are suspects that it has developed from or it has the origin in the bats and that infection get transmitted from the wet markets in some part of the world. So what is the basic cause of all these things? If the infection is getting transmitted from the bats or from the some birds, so that means there is a trading of wildlife in this market is happening. Okay, so all this trading of the wildlife is totally under the tamasic nature. Okay, if the trading is happening, that should happen logically or that should happen legally. Wherever there are illegal trading happens, this kind of infections get spread. So this kind of illegal or maybe the situations of these trading situations are not handled properly, that indicates the tamasic nature of the human beings. So it need to be controlled first of all. Science tells us that destruction of the ecosystem, because of this pandemic situation, the complete ecosystem of the human mankind of today's human mankind has got destructed completely. So we have the evidences, we have scientific evidences that tells us that destruction of this ecosystem makes disease outbreaks, including pandemics, more likely. Maybe every 100 years, this situations keeps on coming. The mankind keep on facing this kind of destruction of the ecosystems with the help of some disease outbreaks. Okay, there are epidemics, there are pandemics which keep on hitting the mankind after every 80, 100 years or 120, 125 years. So what it indicates? This indicates that this destruction of the nature is due to the underlying crisis which are behind the COVID crisis. Okay, so that this is that the tamasic nature of the human beings is a root cause of this kind of pandemic situation. Okay, so how to overcome that? So health, we have to because it is practically observed that day by day humans are moving towards more health consideration of the human beings. We are doing research in health industries also. We are coming up with new technologies that can help the to keep the man healthy. But what about the health of the other animals? We have to consider the health situation, and we have to look out towards the health of not just the human beings but of the animals and the environment also. If we are neglecting the environment health of the animals and the health of the environment, that is the nature, and if we are just worried about the health consideration of the human beings, that will lead to the pandemic situations or this kind of major destructions of the ecosystem. Okay, so how we will be able to do that? With the help of sattva guna. We should have the we should adopt the mentality, or we should adopt the thoughts that it is our duty to take care of the animals. It is our duty to take care of the environment also. Okay, so with the sattvic guna, with the sense of duty towards the nature, we can consider or we can work on some plans and we can work on some system which can help or to increase the health of not only the human beings but of the animals and the environment also, which can stop this kind of trading of the wildlife, which can control this kind of infections in the in the mankind. And by this we can control the trading of wildlife, and how can we can control the trading of this wildlife? By the promotion of the vegetarian food. At least we can make people aware that how vegetarian food is will decrease this kind of a trading of the wildlife, and then it can control all these pandemic situations. Yoga tells, or yoga believes that following the vegetarian diet leads to the sattvic avastha or leads to the sattva gunas, and that can make the man more evolved on this earth. So, how vegetarian food is useful to be evolved human being, that we can access in some different session. So following the vegetarian food or promotion of the vegetarian food can control over the trading of this kind of a wildlife. Okay, and that can have give us some control over this kind of spreading the infections from the wet markets, and then we can at least try to avoid this kind of pandemic situations. So we have not adopted that kind of a satikta or that kind of um, taking we have not taken care of the humans, we have not taken care of the animals, we have not taken care of the nature, and that's why we have resulted in this pandemic situation. So now how to take care of the, or little bit about the COVID-19 care. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, 14 sutras says that Deva Dvicha Guru Pradnya Pujanam Shaucham Arzavam Brahmacharyam Ahinsam Cha Shariram Tapa Uchate. So, whenever it is described that you have to follow all these things, you have to follow the Shararik Tapa, the physical penance, stretch out your physical limitations, follow the physical vows. Okay, so many people are following some physical vows on the path of yoga or on the path of spirituality, but now this is a need of the time that each and every person living today on the earth need to follow the shararik tapa, need to follow the physical penance, okay, or physical vows. Which are these vows? Shaucha, cleanliness. In the first line, it is described that shaucha, cleanliness. It can be external, it can be internal also. External shaucha or external cleanliness we can achieve by uh, constant and continuous repeated sanitizations. Okay, or having the physical cleanliness. A lot of other activities we can keep our surrounding hygienic, we can keep our body hygiene. Okay, so that is external cleanliness. And the internal cleanliness along with the external cleanliness, because this sanitizations, keeping external atmosphere hygienic, that is very adopted activities or adopted um, actions. But what about the internal cleansing? Yogic kriyas or maybe the Ayurvedic panchakarmas can help you to cleanse the internal body, or even pranayamas or even the meditation. These are few yoga practices which can help to give you the immunity, which can all this internal cleansing can lead to the boost in the immunity. Our at This is the need of the time, that along with physical immunity we need the emotional immunity, we need the intellectual immunity, and we need the innate immunity also. Okay, we have observed that the people who are having the physical immunity, they are also getting the COVID-19 infections because of the weak emotional immunity, because of the weak innate immunity. Okay, and they are getting the infections and they are getting destructed in this pandemic situation. So along with the physical immunity, we need the emotional immunity as well as the innate and intellectual immunity, or integrative holistic immunity. Okay, so that can allow us to pass through this pandemic situation. So first Sharirik Tapa, or first physical woe is the Shaucha. Okay. Next one is the Arzavam. Okay. Next Tapa, or next Sharirik Tapa, or the woe, or the penis we have to adopt, that is the Arzava. Kind heartedness. This is a situation, this is in this pandemic situations, we have to help the others. We have to help our enemies also. We have to be samacharo, we have to be equal to each and every person by doing a lot of social services, by finding the opportunities to help the people in different circumstances. You can donate something, you can go and help the people, you can give service in the COVID care centers, you can so many things. Okay, so this is a kind heartedness, arzava. Feel, be kind to the human man, to the mankind. This is the time where the arzava, kind heartedness, is highly needed. Okay? So spend at least half an hour in some activity which are the social service. Okay, so this is the highest time that we have to give half an hour or 1 hour for the society. This is needed. Out of 24 hours, at least 1 hour is given for the social service. In depending on the circumstances, depending on the resources you have, we have you have to give the some time of your day for the social services. That is the arza, following the arzava, following the kind heartedness, brahmacharya, and even the arzav without expectation of any fruit. That is a karma yoga. Okay, karma yoga activities are highly needed in this pandemic situation. So brahmacharya. Next one is a brahmacharya. Next COVID-19 care is brahmacharya. Treating Brahma, what is brahmacharya? Brahmacharya is not only following the celibacy, that is also a part of the brahmacharya. But in this era, what is the meaning of the brahmacharya? Brahmane charati iti brahmacharya. We have to act like a Brahman. We have to act like a God. And what God does, or what God is committing, doing the actions, treating equally to all. Where the whether the sun is having any discrimination, whether the solar system is having any discriminations, whether the air is having any discrimination, whether the environmental forces, cosmic energies are not following any discrimination. We people on humans on the earth follow some kind of discriminations. Okay, so no discrimination on the basis of caste, community, country, race, etc. So try to treat everyone equally on in this world today. Okay, so that is something called as a following brahmacharya. Try to help people, not on the basis of this kind of discrimination abilities or this kind of discriminations. Next one is ahimsa, and this is a very important tapa or very important penance we have to follow today. That ahimsa, non-violence. People are already suffering from the pandemic situation throughout the world, and if we will cause some kind of a damage, maybe physical damage, physical violence, verbal violence, mental violence, that is some kind of a sin we are committing, or that is some kind of a very, if we are following hinsa in any aspect, not only physical, verbal also, okay, or mentally also, that then we may lead in a major consequences in due course of time. So following ahimsa, non-violence, promoting whenever we are following the non-violence or ahimsa, we are promoting or we are boosting the mental health or the emotional immunity of the people fighting towards the COVID-19 infection. So we have to promote the mental health, we have to keep the emotional immunity of ourselves as well as others also. This is not at all time of following hinsa. Of course, anyways, in any time, hinsa should not be followed at any time. But this is the highest time that we should follow the ahimsa. We must not follow the hinsa of any kind. We have to promote the mental health. We have to promote, because it's a physical and mental health is depending on each other. Physical immunity and emotional immunity is interdependent. So if we will cause any damage to the emotional immunity of the person or of the people, that can lead to the decreasing of the physical immunity. Okay, and that can cause the destruction, further continuation of this pandemic situation. So following the ahimsa is can promote the mental health of ourselves as well as the people in the society also. So here we are this sutra of the Bhagavad Gita is telling us that following the shararik tapa like shaucha, arzava, brahmacharya and ahimsa can help us to take care of the people who are stuck in this pandemic situation of the COVID-19. In the next sutra of the second sutra, in the second chapter of in 58 sutras, tells us about the COVID-19 prevention, how we can prevent. If the people who are infected because of COVID-19, we can help them with the previous sutras. But the people who have not received that infections, or how we can prevent ourselves, or how we can protect ourselves with the help of Bhagavad Gita Sutra. In second chapter, in 50th Sutra, Sutra says that Yada Samharate Chayam Kurmonganiva Sarvashah Indriyani Indriyarthebhyah Tasya Pradnya Pratishtita. The person is called as a Tasya Pradnya Pratishtita, Pradnyavan, or the person having Pradnya. He is a wise man. What he's how he can be called as a wise man, or how it can be called that his pradnya is pratishtita, his knowledge is stable. He is a wise person who controls all senses like tortoise in case of emergency. We are observing that in different countries the lockdown situations are getting implemented. For some time it is getting unlocking, for some time it is getting the lockdown situations also. So in the case of emergency, no, tortoise, if you have observed the tortoise, in any emergency situation it shrinks its all limbs and his head inside that shell. So in the that we this pratyahar we need to adopt. Okay, so we have to shrink all our senses. We have to control all our senses like tortoise in case of this emergency or lockdown situations. So that is indriya nigraha, that is possible with the help of yoga. So sensory indriya nigraha or sensory control in locking situation as well as in unlocking situations. It is observed that when the lockdown gets finished, or when the society is getting unlocked, okay, that time people are following nourishing their senses. Okay, so the sensory control in unlocking situations also, we have to learn how to live with the minimum resources, minimum sensory pleasures. Okay, so that can be achieved once we are walking on the path of yoga. One, maybe Jnana Yoga, maybe Bhakti Yoga, maybe Raj Yoga, maybe Karma Yoga. Any path of yoga can teach us to have extreme faith on the God and the spiritual understandings, and that can lead to the sensory control. Once the person is awake on the path of spiritual understanding, he can control his senses very easily. Okay, so having a manual control of the sense rather than having a manual control over the senses, the inner control of the senses is always appreciated. In next ninth chapter, 22nd Bhagavad Sutra of the Bhagavad Gita says that along with Indriya Nigraha, along with the sensory control, we have to adopt the Ananya Shraddha. Ananya Chintayanto Mam Ye Janaha Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. We have to have, because this, along with all, no, along with all vaccinations, along with all antiviral treatments, along with lot of that kind of treatment guidelines, we have to follow the ananya shraddha, ananya chintayanto. Don't be worried. Don't have extreme faith, ananya shraddha on God sitting inside your own hearts. Okay, the God is sitting in next. We have discussed that God is present in each and every body. The kshetrajna, the Paramatma, is sitting inside each and every human body, or each and every living thing actually. So have extreme faith on the God sitting inside your hearts, and He will give you protection. He will give you that innate immunity. He will give you that integrated energy, immunity. He will give you physical, emotional, intellectual, and a spiritual immunity also. So innate immunity is a kind of an integrative immunity. He will protect you from this kind of, or he will take you from this pandemic situation. Krishna says, yogakshemam vahamyaham. The person who worship me with undividing concentration and who engage in me constantly, I bring with both prosperity and security to that person. Who is the person who is, with the help of Shraddha, is helping me to run this society in a proper manner. I will give him yogakshemam vahamyaham. I will give him the innate immunity. The person who don't believe on me, the person who who becomes the cause of the antisocial activities, for that person I am not providing any kind of protection. But a person, he is assuring in this sutra that yoga tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. I will give you the prosperity. I will give you the security if you are engaging your mind with me. If you are worshipping, worshipping means if you are with me, if you are helping me in this running of the society or running of the world universe in a proper manner, if you are helping me, if you are worshipping me, if you are completely devoted to me in this activities conduction of the universe in a proper manner, then I will give you the protection. Then ayogakshemam vahamyaham. I will secure you from any circumstances. So get involved in the non-doership. Get involved in the activities of the yoga. Follow the path of bhakti yoga. Follow the path of shraddha. Help the God. Help the creator of this universe to run this universe in a proper way by so many activities. How will help the universe creator or God? By committing the sattvic activities. Okay, so by promoting all this kind of, just in last sutras we have observed the sharirik tapas, or controlling the senses, all these things. So all the, when we commit all these sattvic activities, we will get the immunity against the COVID-19. We will receive the innate immunity against the COVID-19. And this kind of pandemic situations has been, the mankind has faced previously, so 100 years back, 125 years back. Okay, from time to time, human beings are, or the mankind is facing this kind of pandemic situations. And the people who are committed to God, who are helping the God in his running of the universe in a proper manner, with the help of non-doership, with the help of yogic activities, with the help of shraddha, with the help of extreme faith in different religions, so that can give us the immunity against the COVID-19 situations. So thank you very much. In this way, we have tried to help the people in this pandemic situation, that how Bhagavad Gita can help us to fight against the COVID-19 situation.